Hey guys, I'm back again. Just sitting here having my coffee. I typically do intermediate fasting, but I'm really hungry this morning, so I'm gonna eat breakfast. Um, uh, I'm on the ketogenic diet, so today is eggs with a tiny bit of salsa, a sliced avocado, and then my bulletproof coffee. Typically I don't eat until 11 and then I stop eating at 6 p.m. But I'll just have to stop eating earlier today. So anyways, the last video we did, we left off talking about I had finally come back to California and my mother left. So I was really upset about that, but you know, it is what it is. It's not like I wanted to go back to New Mexico because there was nothing there for me. Anyways, so I moved into a foster home, and the foster mother was just, she was old and she was just one of those typical, not typical, but you know, one of those old ladies that's just cranky and not nice and just, she was just mean. And after putting up with the foster homes that I had put up in my lifetime, I wasn't going to put up with it, so I ran away. And they took me back, and I ran away again. And I said, you keep taking me back, I'm going to keep running away. I'm not staying. So they finally got the point. They took me out of the home, and then I ended up in another foster home, also in Lake Isabella, and the name of that family were the Burkhoffers. The Burkhoffers were an older couple. They took in foster girls. So I wasn't the only foster kid. I had a bunch of foster sisters. The dad was really nice. The mother was nice. They were a kind family. And I had foster sisters all around my age. There were probably, let me see, there was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were like 7 within the time frame that I had lived there. And we all got along relatively well. You know, typical sister arguments and fighting, you know, over makeup and bathroom time, and you know, whatever. I was never scared of him, not because he was just kind, but because I had a sister, I shared a room with one of the girls, so I never had that feeling that he would ever come in my room and hurt me because I had the protection of another person. But still in my head, he was still a man and I was still scared of him. So, like I said before, I had a really bad temper. I wasn't great to be around all the time. I got into an argument with one of my foster sisters. And in my head, my foster dad took her side. And I was angry. And I said, you know, if you don't want it, if you're just going to take her side, you know, I mean, the gist of it was, if you're just going to take her side, why am I even here? You guys don't really want me here. Just take me back. So he called my bluff and took me to Jameson. He said, okay, fine. Took me. I was in Jameson for a little bit. And then an older woman came and got me. Her name was Doris. Doris was nice. She had another foster girl. And then we had taken another one on after I had moved in. So it was the girl that was already there, then me, and then came another one. And she was nice. She had a son of her own. And, but I think she was ill-equipped to handle the kind of person that I was. She tried her best. And she had a nephew that came over one time, and he had 4 small children, one of which was an infant. The two older kids right away came over and started talking to me. Who are you? We've never seen you before. Very sweet kids. There was a daughter that was probably around the age of 2, maybe, if that. And she was very shy. She would not come in the house because she didn't know who I was. My foster mother's nephew laid the baby on the floor, and she said, "We got to go across the street. Would you mind watching the kids for him?" I said, "No problem." At this point, I had never really been around babies. Like, I had never been in a foster home that had babies. I mean, I was in one foster home that had babies, but I was really young at the time, so I never really interacted with the baby. So I completely fell head over heels in love with this baby. He was so cute. I went outside. I started talking to the little girl. I get her to come inside. So then the kids are very comfortable with me. I started hanging out with that family a lot. I would babysit for them all the time. I became very close to the mother. I used to go to youth group with our church, and she was one of the youth group leaders. I already knew her, but when I had met the nephew, I didn't know that she was married to him until I had gone over to their house, and I realized, oh, so then I realized that. So anyways, it turns out this family had actually been foster parents before, but they only took in boys, but then they hadn't been foster parents for a while. And something had happened. The father had lost his business or his job or something, and he ended up living in an apartment, like a guest house, in the back of his parents' house with his family, which is the nephew I'm talking about with the 4 children. So they lived in like a 2-bedroom guest house behind his parents' house until they could get on their feet and find something. So I would visit regularly and hang out. I would stay the night. I just became very close to this family. Well, my foster mom at the time was running out of ideas on how to help me with my anger issues and whatnot. And so my foster mom and the family that I had been hanging out with decided they wanted to take me in and that she could help me. And so they worked it all out, and they asked me, would you like to come and live with us? And I was like, yes, absolutely. The main thing that pulled me into this family were the kids. I was in love with the kids. The kids were really young. They were so sweet. And like I said, I fell in love with the baby right away. There was something that just pulled me to him. And it was almost like a protective thing. And I was just very attached very quickly. So the family ended up getting a house and I moved in with them. So this family I speak of is actually my parents now. They ended up adopting me. So when I moved in with them, I had a lot of problems with the father. And not that he wasn't a good guy. It was just the fact that he was a man in general, and I hated men. I was scared of him. In my head, he was going to come in my room at any moment and either rape me or molest me. I just knew it. There was just a matter of time. So I hated him right away. So him and I bumped heads all the time. I constantly gave him attitude. He could ask me a normal question and I gave him complete attitude. The mom and I got along pretty well. I had never really had many problems with her. The main problems I ever had with the family was my attitude towards the father. And so he tried his best with me, but, you know, it just nothing was working. And then I moved in with them probably not long after I started high school. And then around when I was 16, my dad got sick. They were up at a Christian camp called Hume Lake, and my dad passed out. So they had to rush him down to a hospital. And I may be wrong, but I think he was in Visalia where they took him. And they had to put in a pacemaker. So at that moment, I realized how much I actually did love him. And I would have been devastated had I lost him. It was almost like everything came into focus. Like, he's not going to hurt you. He cares about you. He's your father. He's been your father for a number of years, and he wants to love you. You just need to let him in. So at the time, somebody was watching us, and she drove us out there to see him because we hadn't seen him in a while. He was in the hospital. So we went out there, and I was standing. My brothers and sisters were jumping on the bed, you know, hugging him. We love you. We miss you. And at the time, I actually also had another foster sister, and she was very open and affectionate with my parents. But I was never at that point. I never got there. With my mother, yes. With my father, no. So everybody's saying, oh, you know, we love you and whatnot. And oh, and keep in mind, this foster sister was also around the same age as my siblings. She was very young. But as I'm standing there, I'm thinking, I want to hug him and tell him how much I love him so much, but I never have. I don't want to be rejected in front of people. Do you know what I mean? So I waited, and we all said our goodbyes, and then we started walking to the elevator. And my mom was going to walk us out to the car. So I said, hold on, I need to go get something. And I ran back to the room. And I told my dad, it's really hard for me to talk about this without crying. I told my dad, I'm so sorry for the way I've treated you. I love you, and please don't leave me. And I hugged him. And he hugged me. It was the first real affection that I had gotten from him. And it was great. It was exactly what I needed. I knew from that moment on that he loved me and that he wasn't going to hurt me. I didn't make a video yesterday, so I'll continue on another video. I gotta upload this because I don't have a lot of room on my phone now. I gotta delete stuff. I'll be back.